let's talk about the only openly loving, long-range, peace-loving race in the 41st millennium. Before we get started, this video was requested by Kinky Koala. So many times. This goes to show that persistence counts, folks. If you have a request for a video, make sure to tell me in the comments down below. The Tau are the most diplomatically inclined out of all the races in Warhammer 40k, or at least claim to be. The race of the Tau also employ use of other alien races in their ranks. They were in the Stone Age only 6,000 Terran years before modern day 40k, and have advanced rapidly, with them becoming a starfaring species, with their society divided into a caste system where each caste has the responsibility to maintain and improve their society. Or at least that's what the Tau openly say, and the Imperium tries to censor. Not much was known about the Tau by mankind until an exploring Adeptus Mechanicus fleet discovered the Tau homeworld. Named Tau? Do you think the Tau call our homeworld human? Anyway, during that time, they were still in the Stone Age with warring tribes. That was until two mysterious Tau appeared with swagger and authority and went and talked to these warring tribes and made them unite under the philosophy of peace and working towards the greater good. Surprisingly, they almost started building a new society like it was a Lego kit and became a spacefaring race ridiculously fast. Man, maybe if everyone got together and made peace, we would have a perfect little world. We could do everything we wanted to. Look at these guys being all nice and kind and loving each other. This doesn't work in 40k, but it does for them. Ew, it does. It works. Ew, peace. Ew. The Tau also rapidly expanded and used other species to help them fight in their conquest for more planets, getting races like the Kroot and Vespids on their sides. The Kroot are a bunch of tall bird people with quills instead of hair. They evolved by taking genetics from other foes by eating them, making it so Kroots look wildly different from one another, depending on where they are in the galaxy. Kroot leaders are called Shapers, who are the best at finding desirable traits in the people that they eat. They are fully aware of their gift, and do this so they can fight enemies that will give them some more ill-gotten boons. They are used as mercenaries inside of the Tau military, and eating is very religious in the Kroot culture. I agree with them though, sometimes food is so divine that it is a religious experience. The Vespids are the buggers from Halo, like legit, they're a bunch of bugs that have laser guns that swarm people, and I keep on thinking about them from that one mission in Halo 3. Not much is known about them though. They do go out in big old groups to harass space marines or other large units, and their groups are called strains, with their commander being called the strain leader. The Tau are made up of different subspecies that are divided into castes. They're all human-like in shape though, with hooded feet and 4 fingers on each hand, with blue skin on for flavor, and flat, leathery faces, with a slit down the middle. Seriously guys, a slit face? This is low-hanging fruit if I've ever seen it. Not gonna say it, I'm just gonna bring attention to it. Tau eyes also see ultraviolet light better than humans can, but they don't have dilating pupils, make it so they can't perceive depth or focus as fast as a human eye can. Taus overall are weaker than a human physically, but stand at about the same height though. Female Tau are a bit more human-looking with a sleeker, more feminine face. Or just like normal Tau depending on the rider. What do you prefer, sexy Tau? Normal Tau? For your sake, I'm going to assume and say normal. The Tau don't really have any psychers in their midst, so they don't really know anything about the warp besides the fact that it exists. They do have some anti-warp devices and have no real presence in the warp though. They've also decided that the warp sucks and don't want any demonic gifts. The Tau are a bit full of themselves and think the other intelligent races they talk to as a bit backwards and not understanding of the universe. But it's an on-site thing if there are orcs or chaos around, because they cannot be talked down to. But you definitely know they found that out through trial and error. Fatal error at that. Tau are put into different castes where everyone is essential to making society work. The 5 castes are the Fire Caste, who are the largest part of the Tau's military might, are more muscular than usual, and were hunter-warriors on a planet with increased gravity before all the tribes joined together. They're the buff ones, for sure. But don't think too hard about them, that's heresy, and the Inquisition will have your head. The Earth Caste is full of big-brained individuals who do science and technology along with the arts. They are considered to be the reason the Tau have become so rapidly advanced in this short amount of time. I know I just kind of brought this up in the Raven Guard video, but man, I wish these guys were big-brained and with big old foreheads and looked like Megamind instead. The Water Caste are the merchants and diplomats, with them handling diplomatic relations in and out of the Tau Empire. Their light-skinned riz and tall height allows them to be very approachable. These Water Caste folks are so good at getting people into the Tau Empire that some Imperial worlds just join them by talking to them. Huh. Weird. The Air Caste are even more tall and slender, but have to stay in low-gravity environments, or all their bones will horribly break. They are pretty goated on the sticks, though, being the sticks on a gunship, being better than most human pilots. The Ethereal Caste are the political and religious leaders of the Tau. They look the most like Fire and Water Caste, with a cool little diamond-shaped ridge on their foreheads. When they show up to a fight, they usually just watch and learn, trying to understand their enemy, which sounds just great. Nothing's wrong with the Tau. They're just the good guys. Just kidding, I don't want to scare you like that. They might be evil. The Ethereals have been brainwashing everyone to work with each other. They've been hypnotizing others and making them work for them. It's also said that Vespids are being openly controlled by the Tau with their communication helmets, telling them to subscribe to me, and to follow their orders. There are a race of worms called Nagi that are in the Tau Empire. These worms have a slight bit of mind control and are used for helping people switch over to the Tau belief. This is mostly all conspiracy, but they're probably right, because there are no good guys in 40k, and no one should be good. The universe is too horrible, and evil is everywhere and everyone. It's all morally gray or totally dark, despite what the greater good tells you. Now you might be wondering, what is the greater good anyway? The greater good? I'm your lore YouTuber. I'm the greatest good you're ever gonna get. The greater good is the Tau philosophy and religion that states that everyone is equal and everyone plays an important role in society. Squabbles are unnecessary unless you don't want to join the Tau. Then they'll just kill you for being selfish and unenlightened. It's the main thing the Tau peddle to get people into the Tau Empire. It's their meme. And I mean that in the actual academic sense. The one thing that the Tau are the most well known for are their absolutely absurd list of weapons that they use against their enemies. From plasma cannons to even railguns, Tau battlesuits support a varied array of weapons. Weapons can also be put on vehicles that decimate infantry and light vehicles alike. The Tau are centered much more on being ranged weapons users due to their physiques though, being a little less than a normal human. Railguns are mounted on large battlesuits and have a large solid slug that can shoot through most anything. So imagine a sniper rifle to a ridiculous degree. Everything will be pierced. No one is safe. You will be pierced so hard that your septum will be pierced, your ears will be pierced, your nose will get pierced again, somehow, your tongue will be pierced, everything. So much that people on TikTok will bully you, saying you shouldn't get close to magnets, even though the metal and piercing isn't magnetic anyways. Seriously, come on guys, do your research. The Farsight Enclave is a very interesting sub-faction of the Tau Empire. They are completely against the Tau Empire and the greater good. They have a giant planetary defense grid where they shoot down anything that comes into their radius, except for their own ships, of course. The Farsight Enclave like to fight more in close quarters melee combat and use mechs than the average Tau. The reason why the Farsight Enclave came to be is still thickly veiled in mystery, meaning that the Tau just censored the truth. Maybe they did it because of their aversion towards ranged weaponry. Maybe melee combat isn't part of the greater good for them. And in their recent history, they've been fighting orcs and Tyranids. Shash Orvior la Shaka Kas Montir, or Oshava, or Commander Farsight, sorry, I probably butchered that, has so much lore about him that doing less than 6 minutes of talking about them is a disservice, but unfortunately I'm going to have to shorten it. So I might make a whole video about him in the future. Farsight was a Firecast Tau commander that gained his name for his tactical brilliance against orcs, being proven as a hero and great commander. He still had to deal with politics though, where everything sucked, and made him aware of Tau propaganda, which is most likely why he wanted to jump ship and make his own society. Since then, the Farsight Enclaves have been protecting their worlds under his command with his own XV8 Crisis battlesuit. He uses a shield and a sword mainly, and teaches a doctrine of close combat. The Tau are one of the most terrifying armies to ever encounter on Tabletop, a firing line army that sit back and get control points while they point their railgun at you. They have crazy firepower and can be taken as either a horde or with larger walkers or vehicles, and most of the Warhammer community hates them for how they play on Tabletop. The Farsight Enclave have advanced deployment options, alright movement with melee weapons, that hurt for relatively less tanky units. They kinda suck though, their ability to reroll isn't that much of a game saver either. Farsight's warlord traits try to make it so his army isn't only good in the shooting phase, but also in the melee phase. He's not the best commander by any means, some unnamed units are, but he's fun. I just think he's neat. What a sweetheart. And that's it for the Tau. What a bunch of interesting guys who are a bit more clean and happy than most races in 40k. Ignorance is their best friend and worst enemy, with them being less educated about how the universe works than other races. What's your favorite thing about the Tau? Mine probably has to just be the Farsight Enclave and how they change so much compared to the normal Tau. Have something I missed, got wrong, or just have a video request for me? Make sure to tell me in the comments down below. Till next video, fellas.